see us. And Miss Tina Calhoun of Eva Lay Digital Photography is doing this for us, and we really appreciate her doing so.
Amen. It's Miss Janet.
Miss Janet, I'm sorry, Miss Janet. Eva Lay Photography. Eva Lay Digital Photography. We thank her so much for doing that for us, and she does a wonderful job. So use them and contact the radio station at 210-337-1480, and you can get that information, and they do weddings, all sorts of events. So you want to use them. Thank you, Miss Janet.
Okay. Also, I want you to remember that the deadline to register to vote is October 5th. Get in, go. You can find a registrar anywhere. If you don't know where one is, come see me at 1850 East Houston Street, Casa de Smitty's. I'll get you in touch with a registrar to get you registered to vote. And know that if you're a formerly incarcerated person who's done your time, you've done your probation, you are out and you're free and you're doing what you're supposed to do as a good citizen would, you have the right to vote. You need to register to vote. There was something passed in the state of Texas 2017, 2016, giving you your right to vote. So all you have to do is register. Don't assume that you don't have the right to do these things. Be told not that you can't do it rather than taking it upon yourself to say, oh, I can't do that. If you don't really know, go and ask somebody. Don't just say you can't do it, because there's a lot of things we can do that we are self-hurting ourselves by not going out there doing these things. So I'm going to go ahead on my little list of things I wanted to talk about today. Again, we're in a relationship with the city, and I'm about to believe that the East Side is a training ground for the San Antonio Police Department. When they get new officers in, where do you think they're sending those officers? They're sending them to the East Side. Why are they sending them to the East Side? Because if they get in a quagmire or a situation where they're going to do some unfavorable things to our people, they're more than likely are not going to get prosecuted, because we are not pursuing the right things that we should be doing. If a police officer violates you, it's your obligation and your responsibility to file that police report and follow up on that police report, and don't let it die, because they're expecting you not to say anything and not to do anything just because you may have something going on at your house, or you may have a couple of issues in your background. Don't worry about that. It's that particular situation that's on the court right now, not anything else that you may have done. And if you notice in San Antonio and probably throughout the country, when a person gets into a situation, for instance, this military man that just got shot, he was called, the police went there, the sheriff shot him. They always like to tell the background. They like to bring up things that you may have done. But in this case, I have to tell you this, it was the sheriff. It was the deputy sheriff with the shady background. They already had him on a few cases of domestic violence and a few other things. So what I'm asking for on something I'm working on with the Black Leadership Advisory Council is that we have a national or state or city registry where we can go in and see the disciplinary actions of a police officer. I would love to be able to run that down and see what it is. We don't need to know what type of training he has. We need to know if this officer been involved in shootings. We need to know if this officer been involved in domestic violence. We need to know what that officer's history is. And if it's a bad history, why are they still on the force? Why is was that officer still on the force when he's been at home beating his wife? It's not right. So you have to be able to get in and dig deep and find out this information. Yesterday we had the honor of speaking with Miss Reed, who's the brother of an individual who was killed in Killeen, I think it was 2019, on what they call a no-knock warrant. She was telling us how the police probably planted a gun on him because he didn't own a gun, and he had He was shot one time, police coming in through the windows, through the front door on a no-knock warrant, not identifying themselves, and a lot of things going on with that. So I just had the honor of speaking with her, and I wanted to let you know that. There was a shooting in Pecan Valley. This was a 20-year-old kid with an AK-47 or some type of long gun, and he kills a person over there in Pecan Valley. And we also know about the shooting on the west side where the police officers, the San Antonio police, went in to serve a warrant, and somehow it got out of hand. Now, from what I heard is the individual got, he sprayed him with a can of paint, or he threw some stain on him or something. They tried to grab him, and he grabbed the police officer's gun. And then when he grabbed the police officer's gun, the other police officer shot him and killed him. So there's a lot of details behind all these stories. With that, I want to ask Mr. Keith, what does he think about some of this stuff, or what else would you like to bring to our audience and listening base today?
Thank you, Smitty. Since we here at the War Report like to be the voice of the actual military city USA, Persian Gulf vets, we have some information for you. Listen up, Persian Gulf vets, or if you have a loved one who's a Persian Gulf vet. A new study has found evidence that chronic respiratory symptoms, coughing and wheezing, are definitely, without question, linked to service in the 1990-1991 Gulf War and post 9/11 Iraq and Afghanistan. Please contact the VA hospital here, that's the Audie Murphy Hospital here in San Antonio, for information. So don't forget, Persian Gulf vets. You may wonder, do I have asthma? Don't let it be dismissed. Mr. Smith told you something very, very important and valuable, and we don't want to gloss over it. Don't assume yourself out of services. Don't assume yourself out of services. Don't assume you're not going to get it. My dad had asthma, I think it's asthma. No, if you served, there's a good chance that the United States government owes you money, because this is not going to get better. It's called chronic. It means it's going to be with you, and your family's going to suffer. So please take advantage of that service.
Now, this is the nature of the beast. We know how we have been raised. We're good people. Black people are raised with grandmothers, mothers, fathers. Don't let the stereotype that they try to portray us with define us, because it doesn't. We're a lot better than what people try to define us as. We're good people, and we do what we're supposed to do in this community. All we ask you to do is to give us the respect. That's all we're asking for. Respect us so we can respect you. A lot of people have been shot in San Antonio. A lot of people have died from use of handguns in this city, in the black community. Now, one of the things that I would really love to do, which we haven't done here, is start asking every mother and every father that have experienced a loss in their families by somebody being taken by a firearm to come together. We need to know who we are. In order to do that, we're going to have to come together. Now, if you're interested in forming an association for this particular group of people, then please contact me at Casa de Smitty's at 1850 East Houston Street. Today has been a good show, and I want to just say thank you, Mr. Tony, for giving us some good information and some good numbers that we need to call. This is the War Report, the real voice of Military City, USA, and we want to say thank you for being on the air, listening to us on AM 1480.